We've seen war. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
Kiss my ass.
They're criminals. It is a hole. You ever been there?
He says what everyone else is thinking.
I'm dedicated to it. I can't be stopped.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Real America's Voice. And you know, if Ted Nugent is here, it is all-American, we the people, defiant middle finger on fire, Real America's Voice, because my lips, my spirit, my plumbing, my soul, my physics of spirituality is 100% constitutional. Well, I love Nugent except for his politics. My politics are the U.S. Constitution, self-evident truth. And this is from Joe Roberts. Look at that. I get all these wonderful little trinkets. And Joe told me not to shoot this with my 10 millimeter because that's what I usually do to trinkets. But I'm keeping this one. Is that cool? So anyhow, welcome back to Ted Nugent, Spirit Campfire on Real America's Voice. I should put this somewhere visible because it's so cool. But anyhow, yeah, these are difficult times. But you notice I continue to have my upbeat attitude. I still have an out-of-control, defiant, almost like I go to Concord Bridge every day and shoot redcoats. I'm so buoyant and positive. I'm still taking some venison shrapnel out of my incisors because I live the American dream, because I improvise, adapt, and overcome. So let's get right on. You know, we're going to get into the ultimate good. I'm the master of positive spirit. I will turn a steaming, sun-baked turd into a reasonable, accurate rocket launcher with my welding outfit. Anyway, my point is that I'm going to maximize the positive and the good. But first, we're going to start with the bad and the ugly, because I want to say Happy New Year. And if you're really smart and you think, and if you know the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the Ten Commandments, and the Golden Rule, the Declaration of Independence, if you are that great white buffalo in the swirling dust of the American dream arena, putting your heart and soul into being the asset column for your family, your country, your fellow man, good earth, venison, law and order, if you still adhere and genuflect at the altar of all those basic quality of life priorities, I love you. So let's get into the bad and the ugly, because when this freak that somebody thinks is the president, I don't even think he thinks he's the president, but it's so embarrassing, so heartbreaking, that I would rather have people I trust and that are knowledgeable, boots on the ground, hands-on warriors for the Constitution. I bring you my blood brother, my spirit blood brother. Jonathan is our guest this fine day in the early 1925. I just got in from doing my chores. By the way, have you trained your dogs today? I trained my dogs today, so I'm high on the spirit of the wild. Jonathan, Gilliam, thank you for coming on. Yes, we are in a royal cluster crank of heartbreak and engineered, red carpeted terrorism. Now, as a Navy SEAL, as an FBI guy, and we'll talk about those dichotomies in a moment, but Jonathan, Gilliam, thank you for representing truth, logic, and common sense. Every time you open that pretty little silver bearded mouth of yours, welcome to the Spirit Campfire. Your take, my friend, as we are entering the first week of 2025 after the terrorism that the people who are supposed to keep us safe failed miserably again. Jonathan, as a Navy SEAL, FBI guy, help us understand this.
Well, first of all, I ran out of here real quick so I could just grab, the Arkansas. That's the only thing I know how to play.
Yeah, we are funk brother, soul brother, blood brothers, and thank you for your service. But you know that I have an attitude, because I hear from Marcus Luttrell, I hear from you, I hear from Joey Jones, I hear from Greg Stubbe and John Wayne Walding, I hear from the Green Berets and the Navy SEALs, I hear from Buck Davis, the Delta Force guys, and they thank me for fighting for the freedoms that the heroes of the military died for. So I don't take this American dream for granted. I work on it, and I've been working on it for 60 years. I'm not confused, but a lot of people are confused. Jonathan, Gilliam, you've been in the arena of terrorism and the war on terror. How do you see this mess that we're in right now?
Well, it's all self-created, and that's the problem with this. Is that as I've been saying and trying to tell people, like they're saying that, now that the height is threatened, that there's a potential for more terrorist attacks. Well, first of all, the majority of these things occurred because in 1948, I believe it was, the Department of War was changed progressively to the Department of Defense. And somewhere around the same time as that, the eagle on our seal, the Great Seal of the United States, went from looking at the arrows, and now if you look at it, he's looking at the olive branch, and he holds the arrows in reserve. So there's no force projection anymore. And so I believe we can go all the way back to that as one of the areas where the United States started to project more weakness, and our enemies started to show their strength and flex. And so as you see through the years, depending on who the president is and who other world leaders are, these enemies of mankind will flex from time to time or generation to generation. And since Reagan, we have been in one of those downward spirals, except for when Donald Trump was in office before. And the problem with that was not Donald Trump, it was Congress. It was the weak Republicans and the leftist Democrats. And so we have been in this process of the like a heartbeat up and down. We're down, and now hopefully, really the new year starts January 20th. Hopefully we'll be back up to the top, because we first have to project power, and then we have to sweep across the agencies in this nation and get rid of systematically. This is where my fear is with the president. I love President Trump, but my fear is that they won't do this systematically. They'll try to do it agency by agency, but we have to systematically look at all the agencies. Like Tom Homan's going to look at the border and at the deportation issue systematically. We need a justice czar to clean out the federal government, clean it out, restock it, and then at the same time, we need to start working on empowering the people again, the right people, not people who are confused. Look, get them help. If they have Trump derangement syndrome, if they are confused about what body they were born in, get them some help. They need help, and so let's get them that help. If they're drug addicted, let's get them help. Depressed, whatever. They've been groomed by the Department of Education. Let's get them mental health. And then let's work on empowering the right people. Right now, all of the conservatives in this country should be telling their young children, now is the time to go into the military. If you're 18 years old, go into the military, and in 10 years, 20 years, we will own the military again. It's that type of forward thinking of greatness that needs to come back from the Christians, the conservatives, the people who love this country, the Jews out there that are not Democrats and see the reality. Barry Morgenstein, I think he's taken some photos of you today. He's one of my best Jewish friends. The guy is a staunch conservative, and this is what we need. We need this. And stop being afraid. We need to stop being afraid of saying what needs to happen. When we get all that stuff taken care of, I think when it comes to terrorism and these things, most of these issues can be mitigated. And as I've been saying on television a lot lately, is the rock, paper, scissors game. You know, we play as a kid when you do the rock, paper, scissors. If we could eliminate rock and just worry about paper and scissors, we could mitigate those. So we work to get rid of the rock and then concentrate on the paper and scissors. And what you saw, for instance, in New Orleans was a complete breakdown. They didn't mitigate anything. They didn't even have any type of strategy on how to deter or find somebody who might be trying to carry out an attack. They just didn't. The FBI failed in tracking this individual online. So we need to get back to the basics like they teach us in the SEAL teams. They don't put us through buds and give us all the technology. They put us in buds and they break us down and teach us the basics of how to be a SEAL. And that's what this nation needs. We've been stripped of our dignity, And now we have the opportunity, the Lord has given it back to us. And I think right now what we need to do is put the right competent people in charge, and the American people need to start being looked at as a force multiplier, not a weak citizenry.
Boy, that's a great overview, Jonathan. As a Navy SEAL, and as you were an FBI warrior, weren't you, back when they were warriors, when it was a law enforcement agency? But how about the Louis Freehs and the James Comey and now the Christopher Wrays? How heartbreaking is that when you see a Mark Milley and a Lloyd Austin that they're supposed to be the tip of the spear, and they're basically, you know, mushy, stale marshmallows. They don't project power. They don't project confidence. But there's still a lot of constitutional warriors out there. Pete Hegseth would be the right guy. Isn't it funny? I was born in '48 when they went from the Department of War to the Department of Defense. I don't defend freedom. I promote it and celebrate it and demand it. Jonathan Gilliam, every time I see you on TV representing We the this up in 30 seconds, but a very happy new year. And you know that I'm on it every day trying to implement what the American people voted for with Donald Trump. So there is hope. The prognosis is hopeful, but we're in a difficult time now. So thank you for being on the front lines. You represent the Nugent family and all the best families in America.
Ted, you led the way in teaching us how to be a go-getter, a wild man, and a patriot. And we are who we are because of those of people like you that come before us and show us how we set the standard for how we should be. So I thank you for that, and God bless you, brother.
Thank you, Jonathan. We'll be right back with more truth, logic, and common sense in just a minute. Thank you, Jonathan.
You got it.